This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
With their hands and fingers. Montessori asked herself, why? What human need was such action fulfilling? After much observation and study, she began gradually to understand how, as human beings, we develop our intelligence by learning through our five senses, and particularly through the relationship between the hand and the brain. In recognition of the building of the intelligence through this feedback loop of information from the hand to the brain and back again, Montessori stated that nothing should be given to the brain that is not first given to the hand. By this, she meant that abstract ideas and information of every possible kind should be given to the young child first, in concrete form, to be held, discovered, and explored. From this initial insight into the development of intelligence in young children, based on practical experience with children in extreme conditions, came all the Montessori materials so widely acclaimed today. When Montessori began her work with children in the first years of the 20th century, the prevailing attitude was that children had an evil nature which needed correction. From the viewpoint of the 21st century, this seems an odd conclusion. A lingering acceptance and belief in magical powers and superstition from earlier centuries may have accounted for this belief. During the intervening years, our culture has swung to the opposite extreme, regarding children as good by nature. As a scientist, Montessori was objective about the nature of the child. Her emphasis was on the child as an unformed being, albeit a human and spiritual being. This neutral view of the child's goodness or badness left Montessori free to observe children's behavior without value judgments. As a result, in succeeding years during her search for the human spirit within each child, Montessori gradually discovered the stages of development that all children and young adults follow, the specific powers that nature provides to help them reach their goals in each formative stage, and she developed specific approaches and methods to aid them in their journey to adulthood. When she observed that young children under age 6 were clearly self-centered and egocentric in action and attitude, she saw it as a phenomenon, the purpose of which needed to be understood to know how to help them. Eventually, she realized that this natural drive of young children provided the focus and energy for their self-development. Rather than deserving condemnation and correction, it made possible, with proper aid by the adult, the development of the young child in the first 6 years of life into a strong individual, capable of independent action, language, self-discipline, and basic academic skills of writing, reading, and mathematics. In other words, someone for the first time able to make a real contribution to others. She noted other characteristics of children under the age of 6. They go through very specific and well-defined periods of interest in certain areas of their development. For example, there is a period of intense absorption with order, another for language, and another for learning to walk. During each of these time frames, varying in duration from months to years, the child is so focused on the particular development that he will ignore other phenomena previously of great interest to him. His energy level and dedication to his single-minded task are extraordinary, but terminate just as abruptly as they began. Montessori called these intervals sensitive periods. Another phenomenon of the child under 6 years observed by Montessori involves the child's mental capacities. If the child's mind is unformed at birth, how is he to learn about the world around him? How is he to take in the sensorial impressions from his environment and create knowledge from them? Clearly, the child has to have some ability to learn without the developed brain of a more mature being, with its already formed neural structures and synapses. In response to this dilemma, Montessori noted that the child seems to have a capacity for taking in the whole of his environment just by existing within it. It is an absorptive ability that is not yet based on selectivity.